8 minutes past 8. Let's take you back to our main story here this morning. And the Mail on Sunday says it will vigorously defend itself after the Duchess of Sussex announced she is suing the paper for publishing a private letter she sent to her estranged father.
Last night, Prince Harry said what he calls a painful impact of intrusion of media coverage had driven the couple to take this action. Let's speak to the royal commentator, Kate Williams, who joins us from just outside Buckingham Palace. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us about a subject which I think many people are discussing this morning, the rights and wrongs of this, and also our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell, referred to it as an unprecedented statement because it was very, very highly emotionally driven, wasn't it, this statement from Prince Harry, Kate, first of all?
Yes, you're so right, Dan. It was incredibly powerful. And of course, we've seen these statements from Prince Harry before. At the very early days of their dating, he issued a statement saying about the wave of abuse and harassment that Miss Markle was suffering, his girlfriend, and he was very upset that he couldn't protect her. But this goes much further. It talks about the malicious coverage, the false coverage, the relentless campaign, and really at the close has this incredibly powerful reference to Diana, Prince Harry is saying, my greatest fear is history repeating itself, and he's seen what happened to his mother, and he sees his wife now falling victim to the same powerful forces. I mean, this is just as you were saying, Nicholas saying, this is an unprecedented statement. You know, so often royals don't say anything, they make no comment, but clearly Harry feels that that is not working, and he has to both make complaints, which he has been doing, and also launch full-scale legal action and make bigger statements about how this is affecting his wife and also affecting him.
And members of the royal family have taken legal action against the press before, but it's still a very significant step, isn't it? The difference between complaining about coverage and then taking the press to court.
Yes, Dan, and often what the royal family have done before, it's focused on photographs, intrusive photographs. So, for example, the Duchess of Cambridge, those holiday photos in 2012, they sued the French magazine over those, and photographs it is quite easy to prove. But this is very clearly on the legal question of copyright, because as you were saying, the letter, if you write a letter, the copyright is with the writer, even if you send it. So the argument is that the Mail on Sunday, Associated Newspapers, has infringed this copyright by printing the letter. But the statement was about much more than the letter, about really what Harry said was this campaign, this propaganda, and he said lie after lie. So it's not just here about the legal action, which is key, and I think that they have a very strong case here, but also this whole statement last night is partly to the media saying we're not going to sit back, we are going to fight back, and also to public opinion saying but these stories are hurtful, so think twice before you click on them.
We've asked our viewers for their comments this morning. Lots of response. Kate, Rosie, one of those saying Meghan and Harry are well within their rights to say what they have said. I, for one, will be supporting them. James says, I support the Duchess of Sussex taking the Mail on Sunday to court. The letter was sent to her father, was handwritten. What is more private than that? But on the other side of that, the comment being made by some is that she was in the public eye before she got married. The royal family are always in the public eye, and in essence, there is to be an expectation of this sort of intrusion into your life when you are leading the life that they lead. Is that an argument that will work, do you think, when this case does come to the courts?
Yes, well, that is the case when the case is going to come. It probably won't be till early next year. But I think that what is very clear here is that there is a difference about coverage of Meghan to coverage of the other royals. Yes, royals should be covered, and yes, they should be criticised. If they make, say, a mistake on a tour, if they perhaps say the wrong thing, yes, that should be covered. But private letters between the Duchess and her father, they shouldn't be published, I feel. And also, I think what we see with Meghan is everyone who marries into the royal family has a hard time. They call the Duke of Edinburgh a Nazi. You know, it was weighty Katie, Diana suffered, but Meghan really has had the criticism the worst of all. And what we see is what one royal is congratulated for example, editing a magazine such as Charles editing Country Life or Kate editing Huffington Post. Meghan edits Vogue, and it's seen as catastrophic. So I think we really do see some unfair coverage, and this is the question: is the coverage fair, and is the coverage coverage really what is appropriate? Is it because there's this constant demand saying, you know, we don't know about this about Meghan, we need to know that about Meghan. We can't, I think, know every detail and see everything and criticise, you know, often without fairness, our royals. There has to be a level of fairness, I think, because simply otherwise they do live in a goldfish bowl, and I think otherwise we are, you know, what are we doing it to them as a society? We're putting them in this goldfish bowl and letting them suffer.
I wanted to ask you one more question. You touched on it earlier about Prince Harry in that statement, sort of likening the treatment of his wife to that of his mother, Princess Diana. Louise put that point earlier to Andrew Pearce, who is a political commentator, works for the Daily Mail, the sister paper, as he said, of the Mail on Sunday. And he said that's an unfair comparison in his eyes, because Princess Diana throughout her life had a very complicated relationship with the press. Do you think that is a fair comparison that Prince Harry has made?
I think it is a fair comparison. I think that Diana did suffer this press intrusion, and when she was within the royal family she really could control it, but outside of the royal family, as soon as the divorce was finalised, really the press intrusion became very strong, and she was followed everywhere. Her life wasn't her own, and of course there were photographers who were put on trial for not helping her at the scene and taking photos instead, which seemed the extreme level of madness, really. And so I think it is a fair comparison, and both Diana was sort of hunted down, and I think that is what happened to Meghan. And of course the Cambridges, when they sued the French magazine over those holiday photos in 2012, they invoked Diana as well and talked about Diana's memory. Both William and Harry, they saw their mother suffer, couldn't do anything about it, and it's very painful for them to see their wives having their privacy being invaded. And I think they're both saying it has to stop, there has to be a limit, and this is where we draw the line.
Very interesting to get your take on that, Professor Kate Williams. Thank you very much. And